after this.
Virtus.Pro's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. 10 seconds remaining. Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
League's assassin.
Radiant team pick.
Dominant.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
Keeper of the light.
Welcome back to ESL 1, powered by Intel, where we are ready to head into the draft of the second series of the day. We see Virtus.Pro taking on Extremum. We've decided that this is an uphill battle for Extremum, but if they get their hands on the strategy of their choice, they have a good chance here against a VP. We're joined by a BSJ on a big screen. He'll be joining us for the draft, as well as a Cap and T-Governor as well, and we are ready to jump straight in, and we have the openings already as well. Brian, initial thoughts on these 4 heroes on the board?
5 seconds.
Wow, these are heroes I've just never seen before. This is crazy.
Wow. Medusa, by the way, is banned, so definitely a strategy from Extremum that VP gives proper respect to.
And the Death Prophet.
Yeah, and the Death Prophet as well. No DP5.
And there's the Bristle. There we go. Sorry, Extremum, you're not allowed to play anything you're comfortable on.
So are we going to see Extremum already play something vastly different from what we have seen from them in the future?
Potentially they might angle away, but I think the important thing is simply the idea of the bans. I like from Extremum. They ban out this line. We've seen VP play it yesterday, especially into the Puck. And Puck wasn't even banned, so Virtus.Pro, they cover themselves from this potential Puck pick with a Shaman, and now Extremum kind of have to pivot away from potentially what would have been a very easy pick. Instead, they now go for arguably two of the best heroes in the meta right now in that supporting role with the next Cuddle. So yeah, in terms of meta, Extremum should be happy with these picks, but it's not like a surprise. It's not going to put VP in a difficult position of, wait, what are they picking right now? It's just the Cuddle and the Nyx, of course.
You mentioned last series that the Timbersaw represents a hero that they have to deal with in regards to heavy single target focus, which means it's also hard for them to deal with summons. And I look at these Extremum heroes and I say these supports are going to get ran at by a Wraith King, a Lycan, even getting dove by like a Nature's Prophet in the early game, even if it's a 5 position. So I'm curious if Virtus.Pro is going to take a page out of T-Gov's notebook here and go for the Timbersaw plus some summons to make Extremum have too many boxes to check.
I'm also wondering what Shotchel is going to be playing in this game. Because if there's a Timbersaw, I feel like about 80% of his hero pool is
the tanky boy offlane.
Like the tanky boy offlaners are no longer there. What's next? The Bat Rider? Well, you could still get Oracle for that. So, you know, I'll be curious to see, because they've just been kind of like hitting the same notes and tones that honestly shot entire career.
I'm scrolling, mate. I literally can't find anything.
Well,
at best as a Bloodseeker.
Mars is still in the pool as well. Played Underlord, Darkseer, Pango, Axe.
Pango?
Yeah, Pango is the one, like, I feel like Pango, and I guess he played Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
Like, those are like one-off games that they played with, and those are abnormal for him. but 50% of his games, I think, are Mars right now.
But that's what the beauty of, like, I say the beauty, I actually hate it kind of, but like where the patch becomes like, why is Nick strong? It takes away 50% of the mid lane hero pool. Why is Timber strong? You need to have the perfect heroes to deal with him, and also it removes like a portion of the hero. Like, it is just an annoying hero. So, but eventually teams do learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, what I've learned in drafts is that you have to not lose the draft in the first 2 picks. I think tier 1 teams like Virtus.Pro, they pretty much never do that. Like, I never look at their first 2 picks and I see the 3rd pick for the opponent and some perfect hero. Usually in the early stages of the draft, your heroes just have to make it so that you don't have to worry about nearly as many things later on, such that you don't get the gotcha pick on the 8th, 9th pick. Sometimes you look at these early drafts and you say, why did they pick a Timbersaw? There's no strength heroes here. But it just makes it so that you only can ban away so many heroes. And now you can take away everything that you're possibly concerned about.
And I honestly don't mind the opening from Extremum either, because they are first pick. They have this kind of just strong support duo. They get to see one more hero from VP before they have to start revealing something within their kind of core department. So VP, you know, they're not really showing anything either. So strong Oracle, maybe that becomes a troll pick on the next one if Extremum pick up a weaker offlane. So that, you know, so VP, they're keeping their cards close to their chest, but Extremum can exploit this with one kind of flexible core here to get themselves through one more pick from VP.
And it's kind of interesting. I thought they were going to bait out the Bat Rider and then counter pick it with, but I guess they feel like there are so few options left to be able to deal. I mean, it's already good synergy with it, but then you're limited.
You also can't really draft like that, I don't think, because you only see 2 supports, and then if you want to hide your position 5, that's when you can start getting a little bit outplayed. So for Extremum here, they need to really pick, like, maybe even the Pangolier in this position. Oh, they go for the Bloodseeker, like we already mentioned about the offlane pool.
Yep.
So both teams pretty much revealing everything about their side lanes and their support duo. And the carries are to be picked.
Do you guys think because we saw how Troll is able to build an early Maelstrom, even does a lot. Do you guys think Bloodseeker could make it as a safe lane carry again with that kind of build, or does he kind of have to be through?
I tried that build. It didn't go too well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually went into a game with that exact thought cap.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I think the fact that Troll can do the right clicking from range.
Yeah.
So you're not eating Whirling Death and Timber Chain while you're hitting him. Even though Bloodseeker has innate sustain from his 3rd spell, I don't know. It on paper it seems like it should work, and then it just didn't.
Well, if the 51st best player in North America and South America says it doesn't.
What's down EU?
Is that what I am right now?
4,500.
Nice.
The Wraith King pick also removes it from the pool, obviously, for Nefrit, who...
It's the playbook, Shiva.
The only one remaining from the playbook is Alchemist, but is this still an Alchemist-friendly game? I don't think so. Are we going to see him play something different?
Oh, yeah. That would not go down too well, I don't think.
Radiant team.
I really like this Wraith King pick.
Interesting. The Watermelon, the one hero it doesn't like playing into, is going to be the Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Because you're meant to park yourself in front of the tower and feel pretty chipper about defending it. Timbersaw, with about 2 spells and a bit of enthusiasm, takes away that hero. So, a bit upset about this pick by Extremum. I don't really like it. Being a bit blunt there. Brian, what are your thoughts?
He's probably one of the best strength heroes just because the Kraken Shell removes the debuff of the Whirling Death, so you don't lose a bajillion strength. But I agree with you. I think his role is already pretty hard here, and they have a last pick mid to give like follow-up to the Timbersaw's threat on the Tide. I also believe that they don't have any stuns, really, other than the Nyx. And I've seen games where Nyx is the only guy to go do stuff, and they have boys and the Wraith King and the Timbersaw, and they've got one volley of spells. They've got Rupture, they've got Ravage, they've got Nyx Vendetta, and I just don't think you're going to be able to chew through this HP at some point. Maybe around 15-20 minutes, that critical threshold is going to be too high for Virtus.Pro's tankiness to Extremum's damage output over time. Sustained damage is what I'm looking at.
I will say, the flip side argument to my own hatred towards this Tidehunter pick is simply, I think maybe if you use the Bloodseeker to cover the Timbersaw, there is real no kill threat on the Tidehunter early on. So this Bloodseeker, he has that wave clear with the Keeper of Light in that Timbersaw lane, the Tidehunter into the Wraith King. Like, it's all about the lanes right now. Like, I was mentioning game situations, but if they can win the lanes, get the ball rolling, they might be able to get something going their way.
Totally agree with that. I would be a big fan of the Tidehunter pick here if they had a 4 position that would take advantage of that laning phase.
That's true.
You know,
that is
where
true, yeah.
you're able to use this like Wind Ranger, Lina, like insert ranged 4 that is able to just hit the Wraith King and you just gush combo him every single time. Like, that feels really good for the laning. I'm not convinced Nyx's Assassin is going to use.
They need some tower damage because with these types of heroes, they're going to have good lanes for sure. But as soon as we get to that 15-20 minute timing where we see VP play slow, then turn up the heat, they can't group up and be confident unless they've already built up a 5-6k gold lead and they rely on their items to cushion the fact that Tide isn't that tanky. Bloodseeker doesn't really scale the Wraith King. So
yeah, where like there's no Death Prophet or Leshrac left. So I don't know what your pushing power is going to come in.
Okay.
You're mid.
So they're going all out, just big skirmish, big fight. And if they kill this Oracle at the start, maybe the displacement of team fight on VP's lineup. Sure, they might have a weak early game, but actually, yeah, I think maybe this Storm pick's kind of cool. I'm scared that they can never end the game. And against VP, I think you need a clean route to ending.
Dude, I think Storm Spirit's #1 problem is damage, man. Like,
true.
He eventually runs out of mana and he can't do damage. And that was the one issue I really had with Extremum's lineup. So I'm not trying to be... I'm less of a fan of this pick than the Tidehunter pick. I think they needed, like... I guess Lesh and OD would have been good picks. They needed... like something like that just dumped out damage. That's all they needed, I think. And Storm just doesn't cut it. And now they go for the puck. So suddenly the Storm Spirit and Bloodseeker, who are all about zip zapping and zip zooping with the running around on Bloodseeker. Yeah, baby bopping. There you go. I think I love Virtus.Pro's draft. I think it's well rounded. I think Extremum just don't have the tools to deal with their heroes later on in the game, and all their heroes have like the innate kit to kill the Storm Bloodseeker, and that alone tells me that they can get more items for themselves rather than building to counter the opponent, and that almost always leads to the victory for the team that has to do that. So Virtus.Pro, I'm really liking them here.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. We'll come back to you after the game, and the way everybody was talking about the draft seems fairly good for Virtus.Pro and for their fans, Tigov. I want to hear glimmers of light for Extremum.
Good wave clear
in
the anti-Timbersaw lane. They have good anti-Wraith King heroes with the Timbersaw. No, sorry, with the Tidehunter.
Yep.
And the Storm with an early Orchid can punish the puck, you know? So they have an ability to win all 3 lanes and to get the ball rolling. They need to somehow hold that up and not make mistakes. The only issue is, if they make that mistake, I feel like VP will eventually just outscale and play more methodical like we saw yesterday. The other team looks good for 15-20 minutes, then they fall off.
Yeah, you guys were talking about what, wiggly squiggly?
Yeah,
bibbity
bobbity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say swiggity swooty.
Yeah, with the
GPK is coming for that booty.
Yeah.
All right, swiggity swooty. All right, I don't know what to do with that one, but I'm sure Moxie and Purge will be able to take this one. Take it away.
Well, those are the technical terms of bibbity bobbity boo, swiggity swee, and all these wonderful other things. I'm really interested to hear what your official technical terms and phrases would be towards what we're seeing with the draft.
Well, I don't know if I have any good that whip. I'm just thinking. The Extremum draft's definitely kind of interesting. They're falling back on hero, at least the Bloodseeker, that aren't super proven, but it's a support. You know, Rupture against Timbersaw is very good. Having Silence against Shadow Shaman is a good matchup, and like Seagov said, if they can do good in the lane, it's an okay place in the mid. But you know, there's scary stuff. Foil against Storm Spirit with Brex roaming. Like if he gets ultied and Shadow Shaman follows up, like Storm's gonna die very often. I don't know, maybe Nyx Assassin is the other X factor as well. Move around, help Storm stay alive, maybe get... There's lots of potential. Get Extremum. DP's super clean so far. They consist with their 2-0s and they look fabulous every time. It's going to be a tough game for Extremum.
30 seconds to...
I definitely think that looking at the draft lineup that they have coming out from the side of VP, it feels like it's going to be similar to, you know, the game that we just saw yesterday, actually. Well, where they know their item timing and then once it's go time, they just start popping off. Granted, though, that have some going on. They do need those lanes. definitely, for sure, there's hope there,
The battle begins.
especially when you consider that yesterday was the very bottom of upper.
See how the lanes mix slightly different. Win lace with extra reach compared to the boot, so maybe show us that he wants to fight a little bit more. Maybe that's the aggressiveness that Capo's looking for, of course. But if you have more regen, it's going to mean fighting often is.
Are you also concerned about the fact, I like the fact that they Storm just because it does give you that mid, but I am concerned about their lack of damage. Like, they don't have the type of support that really, satisfy the ganking out a lot of the time.
Yeah, Coddle's damage is
Dire's top
not
tower
as
is
great in
under
gank,
attack.
but Nyx Assassin still does a lot there. So I think Storm does provide them enough damage generally. Like, if you pair Storm with one of the other cores plus the support, I think you should be able to kill heroes. The only one that's a bit iffy is going to be
Dire's
Timbersaw on those
bottom
circles.
tower is under attack.
I think they have some options here. And as the game gets really late, Bloodseeker, not the most traditional carry, but he could buy a shard that does pure damage based on their health. That'd be really effective against Timbersaw, very effective against high HP Wraith King. So they have some options. They could itemize a little different. I would love to see Extremum win this early game just to see what they do itemization-wise and see how they pressure. They've got to win those lanes first before start talking about what items are going to save your game.
Again, talking back about, the fact they are going to get pretty chonky. It is definitely, Timbersaw, never usually the person that you want to go after, especially earlier on in the game. Dominant. But I remember yesterday when, Virtus.Pro was going up against Unique, and they just got so tanky perched, and they had such an issue with damage that they would get Dream Coil. We saw a beautiful Dream Coil come out from the side of Unique with like 4 heroes caught under it, and they literally just stood there and didn't care. Like, they didn't Delta split, they didn't do anything. They stood there, Dream Coiled up, and just murdered the entire team because they couldn't kill them. They were too tanky, and of course they had plenty of damage at that point.
Yeah, and so you've gotta, even if you have those like perfect heroes that give you the lockdown that you need, still your lineup still has to make sense out at that phase. But outside of Tide and a lot of vulnerable here, should have a nice game in his lanes, in his not too starting again.
And again, it's pretty quiet for the most part. Haven't been seeing a lot of like early winner kills in a lot of these CIS games. It's actually, we've seen more aggression coming out in the EU.
Yeah, not always the lane. Like, usually they'll stabilize their lanes, go ganking, and we'll probably see something. Fight again. Shaman trying to stack the small camp in the meantime, saves body, block that, but pull didn't quite work out, so no big loss there. Little normal skirmish stuff. I think things at top lane, a lot of fighting though.
Yeah, there's a lot of poking back and forth, but there's no real hard committal on this again. I don't normally see that aggression come out until around maybe, around the 4-minute mark when we start to see the action runes come out, or of course, the 5-minute mark. Definitely a rotation towards that mid lane to try to get.
But I'm curious if Timber's gonna pressure against Booker. A lot of Timbers will go for a Orb of Venom, guaranteeing those range creeps that destroyed by Coddle. So very easy for them to last hits. 16 so far on Bloodseeker. But once Timber gets like another level or two, he should be pretty much survivable in this lane and not have to worry about much at all. I go on Bloodseeker.
Poking back and forth. Don't look too concerned. They get Timber off over on Nefrit. Blood right won't connect. And it's just Timber doing Timber things, honestly.
Now he's got 2 points. Yeah, sure, he's going to take magic damage. Storm, getting zoned out of mid lane. Walking back to his bottle. Get that a little bit quicker. But he's sitting 17-2, Puck at 15-5, so they're very tied out of regen top lane. He hasn't got any points in Kraken Shell yet. He wanted to have Gush to be able to harass and deal with Wraith King a bit. Walking over for Wraith King, but this is kind of cool. He spawns skeletons and throws his stun at Nyx. What this does is it aggroes the skeleton on him and basically makes any movements he does spotted. So that was kind of a weird little move, but kind of an effective way to spend some mana. It's not like he really needs Wraithfire Blast that bad. The skeleton just follows Nyx around and makes his so obvious. So.
Top lane, now that they know the Nyx isn't here, they'll try to put a little bit more down Joshlo, but not gonna have it just yet. 4-minute runes are spawning, and it's kind of, you kind of know what they're doing though, right? You know that if Ju's leaving the lane, that he's gonna trying to cure a. In fact, the rune is bottom. They take down the courier. Poor save.
We got something out of it. And Tide has picked up his Morbid, by the way, so this is supposed to give him lane stability, basically, because but kind of a cool itemization from Lightstone. Again, really good pressure against Tide. If Tide had Kraken Shell, this wouldn't mean nearly as much, but it's a nice way to offset what Tide was trying to do. I'm gonna run back to base and go heal. Not very normal for offlaners to do this. I heard him in the last sets about 18 and 4 versus the 4, 25 and 10. Not a bad start for Wraithing in the slightest in this.
Yep. See, that save had already rotated over. They got silence off the shackles. They need just a little bit more damage. And I'm pretty sure that GPK will still be able to find. In fact, they actually forced a teleport over to the mid lane too. So feeling very happy about that if you're Virtus.Pro. Joshlo in top lane is taking a decent chunk of damage. But care too much about it as the runes are up, the bounties are getting taken. Virtus.Pro grabbing quite.
It's a tough moment. Level 5 getting ganked is pretty. On the bright side, G did some great stacks there. He's got a double or a triple stack of large camp, a double of medium. Storm should be able to clean those up, pick up a 6 safely. Puck is about to hit 6 here. That's where things get scary. Any rotations, he gets ganked. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some shift and go deep.
They did manage to get a courier snipe over here in the top lane. Nightfall's courier is going to not be able to deliver things to him for a bit. And so over here, nice and pale coming out from 2. Lets us fight Carapace, buys a little bit more time. This Tidehunter, though, will get taken down by Kingslayer thanks to those Purifying Flames.
Way too much magic damage. And this is usually why, because when I play Tide, I mean, it's cool to have the lifesteal and all, but like, he's got no raw HP over what he normally would have. It's a little, like, I get that if he spawns skeletons, you're getting a lot of extra lifesteal, but if he just doesn't spawn skeletons, your damage is a bit low. A little greedy, in my opinion, to go for this Morbid Master without at least getting like a bracer or something. So gets punished by it, just way too much damage coming from Oracle, and the raindrop wasn't enough to offset it.
The Shadow Shaman, because he's been wandering around over in the there, definitely be able to spot out that they have plenty of stacks. People that can take advantage of them. But another move over here, hoping that someone's going to show up and they can get another gank off.
Interestingly, the Bloodseeker dudes. And going for more points in Blood Rage, just going to allow jungling a lot more. The Storm
getting all leashed up here. Save is here. Gonna get dragged back. Might actually go down to tower. And yes, they managed to find that kill. Now GPK forced to leave. His rotation has made it a very nice counter gank to what they wanted to do.
Really nice. So crucially, if Shaman was like level 4 there, he gets the Hex off before Storm gets the pull off and a complete run. Oh! Scary.
It's fine. It was calculated. Fully calculated.
It would have been tough even if Silence would have gotten him low, but not quite low enough. That would.
That's a illusion burn too.
Yeah, but by all means, but Storm would have probably just balled away. It's a little bit hairy, but anyways, these stacks are pretty nice for Bloodseeker with no build here. He's a little bit more effective at. If you look at his net worth, especially, he's actually not that far behind Timber, only by 400. So if these were just regular camps, this would be a much different story. But she's going to try to defend the safe lane now. With Blast is what Coddle does best here.
Oh, they
so even though Timber can, yeah, they can still.
It's like he's just backing off completely now. Yeah, the ward spotting out the rotation. It's definitely not safe for Coddle down there, especially with Kingslayer making his own.
Coddle can get over here though. It's he doesn't have a Quelling Blade, so approaching the tower is going to be hard. But you know, all you need to do is put a good Illuminate into the wave, and you're in a much better spot here. They're looking for him. Here comes a little bit of a greedy Illuminate, but that should clear things out. And, most of the tower damage is going to be gone. No stick on Shadow Shaman, obviously, so they can't just power this down with the tank. So, and now they're rotating over. They've got they've got Rupture on Bloodseeker. So certainly, if Timber gets a little bit crazy, they can go on him. And with Nyx Coddle damage, maybe it'll be enough to get a kill, but it's going to be hard with these.
I mean, that was the big question mark. Coddle's not really great at, putting damage early on unless you get a very nice Illuminate. Chu will have some of that to contribute to the fight, but bottom lane they go. They throw out the Chakram. Bloodright connects. Illuminate comes out. Save does have to be a little bit careful because Stu chasing him down over here on the side will be able to land the Pale. And now Save walking away.
And then Pale might look weird, but Shadow Shaman does not have Tranquil. The downside of going Arcanes too. Fuck rotation though. The best. It'll be fine. They get a kill, but ulti for a level 4 Nyx Assassin, absolutely fine. Especially if G can defend this. He's got Illuminate ready to go. He's going to start channeling. So if he just blasts this wave, this rotation feels kind of bad for Virtus.Pro, honestly. But maybe they have enough heroes now to power down the tower.
I think they have plenty now with 4, yeah. In fact, G has to be very careful in this position. See, the Shadow Shaman is making his way over here. Channel that up. We're seeing another rotation, though. The teleports are coming down to the bottom lane. It's 2 again.
Middle tower is under
He's got a friend coming in here with him. So it's a lot of heroes that are spending time in the bottom lane, and they haven't been able to take this tower just yet.
Yeah, and that's enough. If they did choose to fight, it would have been good there for Extreme, but Pro recognize how dangerous. They had wards spotting both rune spots, yeah. So very likely they saw Storm pick up this arcane rune, and that's most likely why they retreat. Not sure if they saw his TP here. Definitely scary to defend against.
Sure. Well, Storm not going to be lucky this time around. The Regeneration gets by Puck over here, so she's very happy. He'll farm up this stack.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Items.
Rail Jelly was picked up on really good this game, in my opinion. I think it's excellent on Bloodseeker. You spend quite a bit of mana spamming Blood Rage to farm, and the extra regen helps. And obviously, it's amazing on Storm as well. And he got Freyer's Trinkets. Storm is pretty much in like the best possible circumstance for a Storm control item, so they'll be happy. But generally, the game's pretty close. Only 1k advantage for Virtus.Pro. Tide's been basically off doing his own thing ever since he got that death pop. He's picked up a hood to solve this like magic nuke issue, and now he's going back for arcane boots. Still not sure where he's going to go itemization. He's got to worry about the pure damage, but yeah, at least he got a pretty stable.
I feel like this is what he always does, though, recently. Is that, you know, the other team starts to pull away a little bit. They start to do some really nice moves. In fact, they're going to go for a jump here over on DM. They don't know that the Oracle's here as well. The silence comes out, the follow-up with the nuke. Mellow Jewel realizing in the back will be able to join up with 2. They'll find the kill on Kingslayer here. They'll go back in. Chakram buying a little bit more time. Save joining in. The Ravage gets committed. It will connect over onto the Timbersaw, but Save, he teleported in just to his death. The middle tower does go down. They do manage to go and use those Serpent Wards in the meanwhile.
Great maneuver there by VP. It's like they took so much time to defend that. And yeah, Extremum gets the support kills, but they dropped Serpent Wards and then TP'd the Shaman. So even though Shaman dies, they still get a massive tactical advantage out of this. And Ravage was used and barely caught the Timber. Great maneuver by VP. 3k advantage now, and that's Storm's rotation, Bloodseeker's Rupture use. They're gonna have to go back to farming now temporarily, but it's not boding super well. Didn't get the tower, got support kills, lost their tower. Not good. And Wraith King's been very close to his rep.
Well, like I said, it always feels like Virtus.Pro, they play their own game. Start to see, you know, making these moves, they start to put the pressure down, but it always feels like there's like one very special item or something, whether it's picked up on, you know, DK or on their core, like Nightfall. Like there's just something in particular, and then once they get that item, it's full on go time.
Yeah, their lineup's definitely really fighting early. Putting on the VP lineup is that mitigated by not having farms. So if you get like a Radiance on Wraith King and everyone else is still semi-close to the enemy team, yeah, they're absolutely going to be fight. Whereas on the Extremum side, they're also matching pace decently well. Like Bloodseeker's going to have Maelstrom. Storm's going to have Orchid very shortly. About 500 gold away from it. So they have some options. 6. So pair Storm plus Nyx, they got kills, especially when Orchid comes.
Bottom lane. A little bit of reconnaissance, and they find themselves a kill.
If they can get a response here. There's the sentry. See this coming.
Save trying to juke around. Puck diving away here. They drop the Dream Coil. Do they have the damage? Yes, they'll go. They'll drop down the wards. And they manage to go turn it right back around onto Mellow Jewel. And they find another kill onto. Beautifully done between K. Of course, his support save there.
So good. The sentry, knowing that their opponents are going to be following them, that if Nyx is at all playing in the area, they were going to spot him, and then getting the coil on Storm just shut the whole thing down. The stun missing was really the big part. Stun missed, I also like that Shaman didn't like turn in Hex right away. He kind of pretended like he didn't see that the disable was coming. So he just kept running, and as a result, let the hit him like normal, but instantly juked. Most players are not going to anticipate that if they don't have vision. So he basically was able to bait his opponents. Watch how he just keeps moving, making his opponent think that they don't know he's there, and then he instantly jukes. And because stun got juked, basically, he gets the Hex Storm, he gets to drop his ulti, and then the DD that was still on the puck allows him to clean up super. So such a crucial play. Like, they turned a gank into a gank on 2 more heroes. It was insanely powerful.
I just felt like they also saw it coming too, right? Because they were carrying that sentry, and they're like, all right, we killed Coddle. Someone else has got to be showing up here, right? They're gonna think that you know, we're easy picks. I just love that. I love to see this play.
So that's going to give them even more control down in the bot lane of the map. So that's why they keep puck here. Shadow Shaman, they have huge disable between these two guys. Hex is also maxed out at this point, and he's got an Aether Lens. So Storm is, even if he has Orchid, if he doesn't silence the Shadow Shaman, he's going to be, still doesn't have it. He's short by 100 gold. That death really costing him like a minute or 2 on his Orchid timing that then would have given his team easier options for kills.
This is actually so interesting. They're actually on Extremum as they play down at the bottom, but they will rotate here now to the top.
Protecting bounty. Pose. Should have his Orchid on the way here.
A little nervous if I was Melody. We saw what they did before. Granted, they did use the Serpent Wards, right? So does have the Orchid online now.
Back.
Just has to be careful.
He definitely dies if he gets caught by these two. It's Arcane Rune, Veil of Discord. Doesn't have treads yet either, so his raw HP is a little bit lower than normal. But he's just going to be in the area that way if Nyx can pings, he knows where it is. But unfortunately for them, Repeat spots this out. And that was ulti's on. Still playing here. Sentry goes down. Ooh, this is tough actually.
Is he gonna try to go for it?
Might get the ward actually. That was so lucky that the Sentry spotted it.
Sashla taking a decent amount of damage here from DM. It looks like they're thinking about making plays, but again, they'll back off. And it just feels right now like Extremum, they're feeling a bit skittish. They don't know. Like, it felt like in the bottom lane, Shu and Melodra, they wanted to make something happen, but then they got a little spooked out. And now, you know, you can see Nightfall. He's got the Radiance online.
Yeah, he does. So they're gonna, VP's tempo is definitely gonna go up because they control the bot lane so well. Now they're gonna pressure the tier 2 tower, drop on wards for this. I don't think Extremum wants to fight until they get BKB on Bloodseeker at least. Like, they're just now feeling comfortable taking the disadvantage that they have with the timing that be.
Wards have been committed down to the bottom lane. They've used the fortification. Sashala's making his way over. Does have the Ravage to make something happen, but the tower goes down and they're gonna immediately jump over here, follow up. Oh, look at that damage. Trying to buy a little bit more time. They'll use the dust over on the back lines here. Nightfall and Sashala, he doesn't want to just ravage the one here. In fact, he can't even get the ravage off because he's already dead. They'll find you over in the tree line. And now the rest of Extremum are just running for the high ground.
Crucially, he did not use Ravage though. So even though it was kind of a weird play, I don't know, they're like fishing for a potential fight, but like they talked about in the draft, like a couple rounds of Timber stuff and Tide will die. And the only reason that was even close to him surviving was because Coddle's been able to farm a mech with all of these creeps that he's been killing in the bot lane. So counter to Timber Saw damage, you just need more raw health. Mech accomplishes that, but just weren't good opportunities to Ravage there. If he Ravages, he hits primarily a Wraith King and a Timber Saw, and his team gonna want to follow up yet. So they net worth disadvantage now. They lose shrines before the 20-minute marks. The level disadvantage is going to be pretty severe, but at least they open up the map a little top. I'm bad.
Yeah, it's a really rough game too when you're a Tide Hunter. Right? Pretty much the main source of big team fight energy coming out. And yeah, you know, you can have a Storm that goes and zips on in. That's nice, but you need to have the backup. You need to have the follow-up as well. So it just feels right now that they're kind of on the back heels, and Storm hasn't been allowed to snowball the way that I would like to.
He definitely wanted like 1 or 2 kills with the Orchid. So far, it's just been farming with this. But there weren't the best opportunities. They didn't commit enough heroes maybe to bottom. I maybe would have liked to see them do like a smoke hero perhaps. The downside is, again, the other support's like a Coddle, right? So maybe they move Coddle over and try to get a kill, but it probably would have gone about the same as it did when we started. It helped too much. And they didn't want to put Tide or Bloodseeker into these ganks, because then if that fails, then you're not getting as much. kind of just playing the semi-passive route on their side. And once they get BKB,
Sashlo, they spotted you with that nice ward over on the side. This is going to be a very dead Tidehunter. No one's going to be coming to save him as the tackles. Throw forth the illusory orb, and Kingslayer finishes up with that final hit. That ward doing a lot there.
maybe a little crazy how far.
They no choose here. Where's the dust? You have dust. Save? Okay. All right.
Maybe they weren't watching. That was a little bit weird.
Radiant's top tower is under
Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they're a bigger fish to
Dire's
fry.
top tower is under attack.
It's a little hard. If they don't pop the dust in like within like half a second or something, then it's not surprising that they.
Well, looks like they found themselves some bigger fish. Like we said, it is, of course, Nefret here. He's going to try to run away. They purge off the heal, and GPK finds the kill.
I guess he would have been ran down no matter what if he tried to not. Big kill. A Bloodseeker doesn't have his beacon rolled away.
It feels
Real
kind of
rough
bad.
here.
It feels like he hasn't been able to participate in really anything going on. In fact, they go and they use the Serpent Wards, and that's a quick pick off on Shu. Or Keeper of the Light and Sasha, they can't really get in there. I mean, they could, but, you know, where's your damage? How are you going to do anything? You're taking wards.
They have that many dead heroes. There's no way. They almost have Blink Dagger on Tide, but he instantly uses up Solar Crest. It kind of reveals a slightly different anticipation of where the game's going. Kind of like Solar on Tide here, because it will give him some raw HP against Timber, which is okay. And using Solar Crest on... No, they changed. You go for Pipe. He went for Pipe instead, so a little bit different. But I think that's all right against Puck and some of the heroes. It'll help. It's not good against Timber, obviously, but it's not just Timber dealing damage. Rough game. Basically, VP got to do all the laning stuff that they wanted to. The Wraith King was more or less free farm. The Tide was more or less free farm, but so was Timbersaw. And then they just hit their timings earlier than Extreme. It's a lot more obvious, I guess, when you have a Timber and like.
Oh yeah, they definitely have been planning for that, the late games. That I think Kyle always talks about that, right? Is you want to make sure that whatever items you pick up, they are going to allow you to scale.
The other thing also is that Extreme, as was pointed out in the draft, they didn't really have very good tower pushers. So that's another disadvantage they had. Couldn't easily take the enemy tier 1, even though they put a little bit of effort into it. But because that fight went badly, that was like their window. They had to use team fight to take the tower, but they didn't crush the team fight. So taking the tier 1 tower was just not possible anymore. And because VP could, VP just got another map control advantage. That was part of the reason they...
A lot of people in the jungle here, friend. Careful. It does have DM to back him up, though. Sashlo. All right, there's going to be the Rupture over on DM, so he's pretty tanky, though. I don't think he minds too much, as now Sashlo and Cheese are pretty far away from the rest of the team. The Ravage will come out. They're hoping maybe they can get the kill over here onto this Oracle, but they're not going to be able to find it. Over on the back lines, DM is fighting and just going through, trying to run away here from Nefret. He's taking a lot of time. They're not actually able to kill him. In fact, Nefret, he's BK beat. He's going to have to just teleport out here as GPK, Nightfall, finding the kill on Chu. They turn back around to Sashlo. He's already used that Ravage down. He will fall. That was all over the place. My goodness. And just right into the Roche pit. In typical VP fashion, they just take these objectives and immediately go for another one.
I think the perfect demonstration of how that fight went was Bloodseeker popped BKB and he slapped Timber, but it just didn't matter at all. Ravage was okay. It hit the Oracle in the back, but Storm must have been somewhere else. Was not able to kill the Oracle, and everybody just kind of got picked off. So Bloodseeker just does not feel as effective here as Wraith King. Yeah, he stabilizes lane well, he jungled well to get decent net worth, but like the hero just feels hard to teamfight with until you get a BKB, if your opponents have like any teamfight at all.
I think also the thing, where are their stuns, right? Stuns, just any sort of lockdown would be just so nice, especially, you know, trying to get into these backlines, trying to do with Kingslayer. And yes, you know, you have the pull from Storm, you've got, you know, the Nyx, but there's only so much that these two guys can do on their own. And they have to go through a lot of things in order to get to the back and get Kingslayer.
Radiant's top
Some way Shaman kind of acts like Oracle. It's like you, as long as he doesn't get disabled, he's going to save whoever the enemy team does go on. They'll drop the Hex or Storm hoping somebody bottom. It does end up being K. Out of Yule, so
Dire's bottom tower
they'll
is
invade a
under
little.
attack.
at least. Right click is pretty solid, but Maelstrom does not compete with what Wraith King is doing. Oh, they have a gem now. He's trying to close this game out.
Found the opening. Nefrit's getting recalled. It looks like they'll go, and they'll just have to be happy with taking down. But that's one scout no longer on the map. Successful. Mo coming out.
Not really sure. It's hard. They have to win a fight, obviously, but I don't really feel like Tide's items really do that much outside the pipe. Pipe is kind of good, but like, fight just not close enough. BKB gets used on Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he had to run away there, and now we've got our own BKB over on Nightfall. Sasha needs to be careful.
Oh, is there a fight happening? Is he a skull?
Oh boy.
Okay, he did not. I don't think he had to use his Wraith King threw a stun from high ground, and he got scared about follow up. Because
I'd
if
be
Shaman is
scared
there,
too.
he could die. Like if there's a hex follow up, he dies.
Yes.
So he popped to BKB, and now they definitely want to. It's hard. I definitely feel like Storm has not accomplished much at all this game. Aimed okay, got Orchid, but because they didn't take the tower, the enemy tier 1, and they didn't invade the jungle, it felt like fighting into the VP was hard. The like only place they could space or look was their own safe. But that's really hard to do. There's so much space. Hard to like get into those kills. And saw that double kill. Then it's just marching forward, getting lots of advantage.
Well, I like the idea of the Storm is good. Have an Oracle that the back line, but I just feel like, and again, some of this comes down to the itemization as well, but hold that thought, Asashlo is just going to get held in place. He's trying to taunt his way out of this, but he is going to get taken down. That's going to be some more bones over here for Nightfall if they end up winning this match. Always a good feeling. But the pressure is on now here for the tier 2, and I don't know what Extremum really does here.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Not looking good. Got Ravage when Tide comes back up. He does have buyback here. Desired. Everybody's hitting buildings.
Push out the
Wards
fortification.
Is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, there's 25-minute runes up. In fact, GPK runs right into Nefrit here. The pings are coming out. One more time, Waning Rift will silence him as the rest of the team... Oh, the Dream Coil does not connect. A little bit off there from GPK, but you know what? The rest of the team is on their way. Can they get the damage off on him in time? No, they're not going to be able to. He's going to get recalled safely to the loving arms of G, who says, don't go over there. That's dangerous.
He's playing pretty safe for Bloodseeker being there. But I think he's worried about maybe Storm showing up as well. Storm was there. It definitely could have been. Oh, he got the
flamethrower. Yep.
All right, so I looked at the numbers the other day. This actually could do an insane amount of damage. It lingers for 3 seconds, so it's like it could last for like 10 seconds on somebody with 900 magic. That's a lot.
That is.
Not very good against Tide because he's got a pipe, I guess. But it also slows people by 30. Maybe he's just buying it because he's ahead and he's like, I want more damage, more easy damage. Like rather than buying Ags to get more Chakram damage, just buy the shard. You know, creep waves with it. It costs a lot less to clear creep wave than use 100 mana. What? Never mind. I thought he was gonna flamethrower there.
Now
he will do it. He could have just used that by itself instead of using the chain. But yeah, you can clear waves a lot.
It's way more fun to Timber Purge, you know, without all over the place. Bibbidi bobbidi boo, as everybody.
Fire.
It's funny though, because it doesn't burn down the trees. He is Timber Saw, but the Hex is out over here in the mid lane. Big crits coming out here from Nightfall. He's going after 2. Like they have the vision here. Kingslayer will get saved up by his own ultimate as Melody. He's already popped the BKB. Is forced to teleport out. They will be able to finally take down 2. Now they're on the hunt. They're hoping maybe they can grab Sashlo here. Hey, looking for the opening. He's going to jump forward. Finds himself a Keeper of the Light. As the Hex comes out, they drop the wards right in front of the base over here. And they'll get the kill on Sashlo.
Ward trap on Tide is actually a great counter. Disables are going to get removed Kraken Shell, but now his way to get out, it's like it's got cogs. You have to hit twice to escape, so nice little use. But yeah, the Extremum just showing how far behind they are. They committed Storm to jump in to try to kill the Oracle, but he couldn't get him. Oracle didn't die in the burst. He gets False Promise off, and good luck. He might have even dispelled the silence or something, because I'm surprised he didn't die to Orchid. Maybe he channeled Fortune's End on himself, knowing he's going to go on him.
That's possible.
I've seen that play.
It's like they'll turn their attention now to the top. Extremum's just gonna have to kick back a little bit in the base. They are coming forward though. Have a couple smokes going, hoping maybe they can get the wrap around. They'll be able to stun up Nightfall. Nefert coming forward. Sashlo getting into position. They need to be careful though. Try to just Sashlo before he can get that Ravage off. Here on the ground, we'll walk into G, throws out the Hex immediately. Nightfall running forward. Nice Waning Rift here coming out from Puck. They'll be able to use the Dream Coil as well. BKB comes out, but Nightfall doesn't care about that. He's doing so much damage. The snap comes out. DPK gets the kill over onto G. Now they just keep focusing down over here on the Storm. Be able to take down Shu. Sashlo got the Ravage off, but it doesn't do much of anything as Extremum just gives up. They throw in the towel and call the GG.
That was the insane desperate move of a team that has very low chances of winning, but certainly the best way to do it is not walking high ground to your tri-camp when your opponents were just there. It's kind of suicidal. You can't go and you can't leave with Coddle. It has to be like Tide or something, but in reality, they were super far behind this game. Their laning stage worked out okay. The tower pressure didn't work out and their ganks didn't. And as a result, VP's core matchups, which are already advantageous,
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Virtus.Pro's turn to ban. Radiant team ban. Virtus.Pro's turn to ban. Radiant team pick. Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
Keeper of the light.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
In the second game of this best of 3 series, we need to see Extremum step it up if they want to have any hopes of taking a game of VP in this series. And we know that it is a tough challenge for them. We heard G say it in the interview beforehand. They consider Virtus.Pro the strongest team in the region, alongside with a lot of other teams and players as well. Let's see if they can do it, though. We're heading into the draft. We're joined by BSJ, Capitalist, and T-Governor here with me as well. And we want to know if the Timbersaw ever sees the light of... Oh, no.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
How you
buddy. Hey, buddy.
Okay, so the important question to me right now is simply, in this lobby, was Extremum choosing Radiant or like pick like... Again, we don't have that information right now, but I'll look into that a bit, because if I was Extremum, if you're second pick, you don't have to ban the Timbersaw because you have that one opportunity to cover yourself with the Ursa or the Monkey King or something.
Yeah.
So they've kind of actively chosen to play into it once again.
Yeah.
They have a plan, is what that tells me.
Is that plan even any better? Because I
No,
specifically,
no,
you're
no.
talking about Mars was
Yeah.
not going to get
Yeah.
picked because of the fact that Timbersaw, is already picked up by VP. But now they're just like, okay, I don't know.
Okay, so using the points from Brian in his little Weatherman segment, we have to look towards what was Extremum lacking in that previous game. It was instant tower pressure, but also the ability to defend their own towers, right? Kind of the summation of that. I need to see them kind of add on to this, because we could easily be going down the same line. Kotal and Mars have the same issues that they had in the first game with their opening. So bit of tower damage, bit of towers defending, maybe.
Here's the problem I see is the last game they did the same thing for Extremum, where the second round of bans they spent on all these carries that they didn't want to deal with. And here, I'm more concerned about heroes that stop you from killing the Timbersaw, like the Oracles or any counter initiation supports. Like, rather than worrying about another hero you can't kill, you have the second round to respond directly. Say they pick Jug, you can pick Ursa or Troll, some heavy physical damage carry that will deal with him later on. But right now, what I'm seeing is that Virtus.Pro is being set up to kind of just pick unkillable heroes again. When, like, what I'm saying is you can't just win games by picking unkillable heroes. But when your early draft has a threat, in this case Timbersaw being unkillable, or in other drafts where you have early push, you can double down on that if the opponent's draft is vulnerable to it. Like, you can just keep dumping it on and say, okay, well, we have more stuff you have to kill. And Mars, he has limited damage output. I would love to see like a Phoenix for Extremum. Just heavy damage, please.
So they actually go for the Bloodseeker themselves.
It's a little weird, actually.
I was kind of expecting maybe just to go for the Oracle again. It's pretty good in lane against Mars, and the idea of the game, just keep it going. But okay, they go for the Bloodseeker.
Aggro tri-lane maybe is what they're potentially thinking. Bloodseeker is pretty strong tri-lane carry. Put the Timbersaw solo safe lane against the Mars. Maybe giving themselves that option. Maybe they're just doubling down on the lanes. Could be that simple as well.
Just think about how they played that previous game, right? It's the fact that you have the Timber Shaman gets freed up, suddenly Shaman's TPing to a side lane and applying that pressure. So I think it will be that dual lane to start, but it soon could unfold once you have that early level on the Timbersaw.
So the wild part about this is basically Virtus.Pro have shown that they can play with this opener. This is the exact opener that they had in the Live to Win series, right? They had Coddle Mars, they got Timbersaw. And what they did is they Darkseered and Bloodseekered 3-4. And Virtus.Pro just played the Timbersaw versus Bloods and said it was actually good enough for them. Even though they won, they can also beat it. And now they're going to take the Bloodseeker for themselves to keep it out of the hands of. I'm like a little bit confused where this whole drafting is.
It led to an OD be picked up.
Radiant team pick.
That's one. And the Crystal Main coming out for Kingslayer.
So yeah, VP really making sure that they have strong lanes. We've seen this in other regions as well, where it's like CM plus any early nuke equals strong tri-lane. And this is where this could easily become a thing where Timbersaw gets a freed up game. I like the fact that Extremum do pick up this OD. I think some type of save, some type of kind of nuisance factor is very helpful in their lineup, especially when VP looks like they want to fight. They now go for a bristleback. Again, picking up these strength areas into the Timbersaw. It is very interesting, but I think it's somewhat covered because of the OD, where you potentially can play around that in prison, try and push away the Timber, but
I think OD is worse against Timbersaw now than he used to be, right? He still it represents pure damage, but now it's based off of your mana difference. And Timbersaw obviously has ways to be able to get mana builds without Intelligent. Where it used to be the int matchup was what allowed OD to.
Virtus.Pro's turn to ban.
And it used to be that you would keep hitting the Timber and you'd do more and more damage to him, and that's exactly what beats Timbersaw. I would love. Do you guys know if GPK plays mid Doom? Is that a thing?
he has played it in the past. I don't think I've seen it recently,
I
but
see a lot of it in CIS. I feel like it's really good here. If they just remove OD or Bristle from the equation in any of these fights, then I don't really know what Extremum does.
They stack.
Team ban.
That's what I've learned. If you have IO,
That's true. There is
Just
going to be a lot of that.
I think the VP have somewhat soft covered themselves from the whole stat game in that previous series with the Live to an Empire. When the Bristleback really kind of took off, it was simply because the enemy team didn't have much jungle invasion. But VP, they do have that with the Bloodseeker, the Timbersaw. They can kind of poke their head in and see what's happening there.
Don't they have like no lockdown? Isn't like Quap Storm like? Don't they have free games against Extremum?
Yeah, they do. Extremum's going to have to reveal exactly what's happening here because, you know, there is potential some quirkiness coming out. Realistically, it shouldn't. It should just be, you know, Bristle carry, Mars off lane, OD mid, and then picking up a position 4.
5 seconds remaining.
Position 4. Like, I think you need a position 4 that represents a lot of damage.
Yeah,
And
Phoenix and Willow.
Okay.
Banned out.
They could go complete skirmish and go for like a Sky or something where they just try and rip through their opponent, but that's so timer driven, and I don't like saying it, but
Your Sky, Lena type heroes that are just. Wind Ranger, that's another one.
Tusk.
double
a lot of
save
damage.
OD plus Tusk could be good, but I feel like you run into the wall of how do we kill Timbersaw again? Like,
Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
okay, they go for a Rubik, sure. That is one of the position 4s that we forgot about, but very, very good, especially into Timbersaw. Once you get his spells, it is a great. You could spell to anything in this game and feel pretty happy on all these heroes.
Yeah.
But do they have enough kind of presence? I feel in there early on, like their mid game, the kind of the theory crafting, the 5-on-5 feels good, but like I think getting to that point, I'm still a little bit worried.
I will say Rubik feels a lot weaker since Arcane. I know people feel like the cast range is really enjoyable quality of life. But
Oh, I like that.
New OD is basically playing like a Pugna, you know? And now, why not just pick the hero that you're trying to emulate? So,
I talked about Doom as a way to remove OD or Bristleback from the fights, but Pugna with his Pugna ward actually just removes OD from the game until he gets BKB. So I think the early momentum once again is going to be heavily in favor of VP. I actually like Extremum draft a lot more this time around than last game. I feel like they didn't have the tools at all to deal with their heroes, but you picked your win condition in the Bristleback into the Timbersaw. I really think this Pugna is going to go off. They don't really have a way to kill him other than the Mars Arena. And at some point, he's going to get 1 or 2 defensive items. And I think GPK is going to completely dumpster this game.
Will they get more than 4 kills?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
with the added benefit of all that Pugna analysis, you know, like Bristleback, he just sits there and life drains and all that jazz. But then the added benefit of being able to have extra pushing. right? So these towers are going to fall like dominoes the first time that Extremum.
Yeah, potentially I would like to see OD change up the build, because when he goes for a Meteor Hammer, I have seen time and time again this Pugner just take every single tier 1 tower quicker than an OD with Meteor can, and suddenly feel out of place because you don't get to play the kind of new age OD. To maybe get away from the hammer, just play a strong independent game and try and become your own core, and then maybe they actually have a good shot.
Maybe they have a good shot. Last draft you ended with sweep, swoop, swap, swap. What's this one?
Bippity bippity, VP gonna take it 2? Something E.
for battle.
Rhyme it, man.
All right, well.
Look at me. Don't rhyme, please help me.
We're not helping him. We're going to find out how this game 2 is going to play out very professionally without any... Oh. All right, over to Moxie and Purge for game 2.
I'm not sure what's happening over there at that desk, but I'm sure it all makes a lot of sense. Purge, they picked up a Pugna. What do you think? Do you think that GPK's Pugna's gonna pop off? Is this the elegant solution to the bristleback like everyone keeps saying?
I think GPK can play anybody, and I'm confident in him. But definitely Pugna's solid this game. Pugna's really good against OD. In lane, he's effective. In the mid game, he's effective. Nether Ward's going to deal just a amount of magic damage. And yeah, he's going to be able to set a lot of tempo, certainly, because that's something that Virtus.Pro doesn't provide. But one slight negative is that Nether Ward will be able to be killed by Bristle-type heroes. That gives him a little bit of a but I don't know, Bristles looked kind of strong as a carry. Comboed with Coddle, if you can get a lot of stacks going, accelerate your farm, and then for ability to right-click, stay alive, it all just provides a really interesting...
The battle begins.
They're gonna open up over here on Sashlo. Nightfall going forward though, grabbing up that rune. And Sashlo is going to be forced to use a lot of that regen early. Are they gonna be able to pincer on here? It's looking like they're gonna be able to do it. Chu over here in the corner. This is going to be our first blood. They're gonna let Nightfall just click away at him slowly but surely, and down goes Chu.
And crazily enough, Save didn't even have to skill an ability. So it gets to be flexible. That was a great collapse there. Lots of harass on Mars, and also getting a foot as perfect.
For value, for sure. Now, I'm interested, Perch. What do you think we're going to see for the build for the Bristle? Seen a couple different versions of it now, where sometimes he goes for the heart, sometimes he goes for the Eternal Shroud. What do you think we're going to see in this game?
Yeah, definitely kind of in the game, it seems like. Obviously, you still want to buy your early survivable item, depending on what you're with. It's a little different against Timbersaw, because Timber has so much pure damage, so you can, like, oh, Vanguard, or... Well, Vanguard's decent against pure damage. Raw HP and read.
Oh, yeah, this is looking like a dead Mars. Kingslayer, just gonna give him a couple pokes here. Nightfall would love to get this kill. Of course, you know, is wasting a little bit of time. So it looks like Kingslayer is gonna be the one who gets to clean up on the God of War.
So probably Vanguard, maybe a hood. Yeah, probably he's gonna need a hood against Pugna, cert. And from there, he can be a little flexible. I think that's the best Shroud game. But Heart certainly sounds really good. Your Timbers get himself a lot of HP, a lot of regen. The guy that sieges.
Also, you know, you talk about the fact that Bristle is going to be the one who gets to run into, you know, fights and deal with another ward. But I kind of like the idea of the fact that by placing those wards down, it makes it so there's another objective. So he kind of has to turn and pay attention to it, not actually hit heroes, right?
Yeah, that's true. But right-clicking on Bristle is like a situational thing. Most of the time, you're just worrying about your quill damage and applying goo on relevant heroes. And then eventually, when you finally have an opportunity to go in, then you're gonna get like 4 hits on a support and they're gonna die. Right, like you don't spend that much time right-clicking. It's playing the exact moment of the team fight and then going super aggressive when it's time.
DM, you know, doing Timbersaw things in the bottom lane, just taking a lot of damage from the eliminate, but pretty content here. Doesn't have to worry. He's got his support coming right here back to lane. He TP'd out because he's a little afraid that Nefert was going to try to chase him down there with all of that lovely snot and bristles, of course.
And it's basically a perfect one. All the damage that Bristle's throwing out is physical. So not only does he get regen on Timbersaw, he's also heavily resist quill damage. So he's got a magic stick, so good luck for Bristle getting kills. And there's maybe a chance to DM him up, and gotta be careful. At least he's got that Coddle Bristle.
Yeah, it's definitely the dream here. Top lane, they're trying to make some plays over here again on Mars. Not going to be able to finish up. DPK throwing out the taunt. I do like that little dance there, but he's got his bottle. charge right back up again.
Pretty good for Pugna so far. 16 and 8 versus 8 and 6 of the Decrep, but you know, it's like the better version of Astral in a lot of ways. Attacking it all or harassing you, and in combo with a blast, you do a lot of damage. Right-clicking OD a lot is definitely, and doing just damage to him for Pugna is the way to play the matchup. I've actually played this one recently. Blast one, once you hit 6, he's got to play around your ultimate with Banish it. It's a lot harder for OD.
Melojo's playing very aggressively.
Radiant's middle tower.
If he doesn't offset the harass, he's going to get zoned out of lanes. Pugna a little low in regen though. The 4-minute rune's going to be big. Big fight though.
Sashlo was getting a bit low there. Had a nice spear that was forcing Nightfall away. And it looks like we are going to see the rotation going for those bounty runes now. The race down to the bottom end. And you do have one of the supports rotating in the top. So Chu, not going to be lucky, but Melojo grabs himself up a regen, which I'm sure GPK would have loved to have had, especially because he's got that empty bottle.
Yeah, I guess GPK would have contested the bot rune, but there's no way he gets it against the OD would banish him, so a little unlucky.
They turn this around. A lot of damage. It looks like Save is going to be able to walk away from this, though. Couple of quills over here onto DM. He's got about 3-4 stacks plus the goo. Forced to just timber chain away, but they do manage to walk away alive.
Bad. Lane pretty normal. Last hits sides. R's in trouble though.
He's done this so many times. It's actually ridiculous. But this time around, Nightfall is going to be able to jump right back in. Again, he's pretty fast, so this time they'll finally be able to get the kill. I can't tell you how many times I saw the CM open up with the Nova. They drop the Bloodright, drop the Frostbite on top of that, and then just a spear would come and knock back over on the Bloodseeker. He's not able to get anything. That time, though, they timed it right.
Pretty cool. It's the Basie pickup. CM, that's good. It's Basie and it's Arcane Aura, so CM actually has way more mana than normal, and this also goes towards Bloodseeker. So combo, and basically they're just out harassing with spells, not necessarily right clicks as well. It's making the Bloodseeker look a lot more effective actually. It's like spell trade war.
I'll take that.
Coddle can give mana, but Crystal Maiden can also give quite a bit of it globally. She had that cooldown, right?
Facilitates Bloodseekers laner, but he can't reliably land Bloodright on most heroes, so apply both the CM abilities, yeah. Trouble though.
Yeah, looks like forced to use the Frostbite, but again, this Bloodright dropping down over on the ground will force back to...
Slap. Ooh, Bloodseeker gonna get aggressive here on the Rubik because everybody's low.
Oh, that was lucky for Melojo. He gets the Invis room. Chu, though, is getting chased down. It's a good spear coming out from Sashlo. We'll slow him down, but the... Oh, very nicely done. Kingslayer rotated at that time, and they managed to get the kill on Melojo despite the fact he had that Invis rune.
Is under attack.
Yes, I guess his HP. So they had vision, I
Oh, yeah.
assume. It's possibly guessed, but probably vision thirst.
Radiant's
And
middle
because he had
tower
vision
is
and his
under
opponent
attack.
didn't, it was pretty... Really nice movement through. Leveraging the Bloodseeker thirst really well here with all this constant fighting.
Very good indeed. I thought that he was free there, but of course Kingslayer was already chasing. Going on in this middle lane though. Again, Melojo, he's just getting life here. The creep's actually blocking him in. GPK gets himself yet another kill here. Oh boy, this guy is popping off. G on the bottom lane though does manage, or rather, to the side gets a kill on save. And DM again forced back a little bit here by Nefrit. Just has too many stacks, I think. All right.
Well, I mean, if he keeps Timber away from the creep wave and doesn't let him pick up reactive armor, that's where things get scary. He's got to have the reactive armor survivable. 7 will leave. Tower getting very low on the side, 300 HP. Dire Tower completely untouched, showing Pugna's advantage. This is basically where things look rough for OD. If he gets forced out of lane and his mid-tier 1 tower dies, he just doesn't get his meat. It's not going to come, and he's not going to find a safe place to get it. He'll get it eventually, of course, but like, look at the timing difference. Arcane boots on Pugna, OD's got no boots, still like, I don't know, 1,000 gold away from finish, 800 gold away. That's a tough circumstance. Now really easy for them.
I think we saw... Oh, hold that thought. Top lane, the arena gets used, but Sashlo, he misses the spears completely here. So he just stands in the middle of the arena, takes a look at Mars, waves at him, and says, all right, I'm done with the show now. I would like to leave. And he just walks away. Bottom lane, though, DM getting very aggressive here against G. Has enough damage with Kingslayer making his rotation to the bottom. They're getting dropped.
Only 8 minutes in. Pugna could rotate bottom if you really... Just like what he's... Like BSJ pointed out in the last Weatherman here. You don't have to wait.
It sounds like an action hero show.
So he had already, when he missed the spear here, he'd already used his God's Rebuke earlier. Then he dropped his ulti. So normally he would have been able to land that easily with the slow, but unfortunately because he saw that opportunity, harder to hit, and he whiffed it. Pugna pressuring the bot tier 1. They're once again using Timbersaw to defend the enemy off lane to ensure that they can't offset this. The only way they can is by killing Timber. They have not very good heroes for killing Timber. OD doesn't yet have Meteor Hammer, so his damage is not going to help. Bristleback does not contribute very much to killing Timber. And then what's left? Coddle, Rubik, Mars damage. Good luck, especially with the cloak coming out on Timbersaw right now. There's like guys here. Virtus.Pro is just going to play the whole map. 4K net worth advantage.
Okay, first of all, before I forget, I want to see a clip that is just the last Weatherman. I want it to be like an action hero thing. Please make that happen, Purge. Thank you. And then moving forward, it definitely always feels like Virtus.Pro, they play their own game at their own tempo. It never feels like they seem concerned about anything. They seem unflappable almost.
I feel like a lot of that's draft so far. They got this nice matchup with the Timbersaw. They got the nice matchup made with the Pugna versus the OD. And these kinds of, I feel like it was kind of similar story last game too. They had the hero matchups they wanted. It's hard for their opponent. So back Treads. Yeah, Treads. He got a Possess Mask. Gonna swap that on instead of the Chip Vest, but he's got Hood as well, so survivable on Bristol. But if we take a look at his net worth, it's not even higher than any of the cores on VP. No Meteor Hammer here. Oh.
And look at that. There's so many heroes in that vicinity, and they just take a look at Timber, and they're just like, yeah, no. Let's just leave. That feels bad.
He has less net worth than Mars.
It feels even worse.
You don't have to be a good analyst to say that. It's looking rough for OD here. He does have his hammer now.
All right.
But we're 10 minutes in. His tower's been dead for 3 minutes. Enemy tier 1 tower still unpressured. Shadow Shaman's been defending it by himself to catch up. Game is like completely in.
He's fighting against the Pugna. I mean, that's normal. They might be able to go. Yeah, they should be able to get this kill over here. Just channeling up the Meteor Hammer. GPK joining in. Stun lands over here, but they turn it right back around. They're forced to drop the hammer. Sandy's Eclipse comes out. They get the kill on save. But now look at this rotation. Look at the aggression coming out here as they just use the Frostbite. They'll have to banish GPK because they can't allow him to just continue to run. And there it is, Sashla making his way over GPK. He's just life stealing so much, but at the end of the day, not going to be enough because Chu managing to steal that life drain will be able to help assist and take down the Pugna. Be a little battery now. Give Mellow Jewel back some of that nice HP.
Get him back up. It's a great ability. He's already got Spell Lamp from Arcane, so is doing some big damage when he gets the life drains off. But great rotation. This is the one downside of being so far ahead is that you get aggressive and cross a little bit too far over the map, and eventually they're just gonna. Pugna is still a little vulnerable.
They don't have a Frostbite, I don't believe. Oh, but at the last second, the lightning proc. Coming in hot.
He doesn't even have Rupture skill. 4 points in Blood Rage, so 30% Spell Amp from these hits, and a little bit of a.
Dire's bottom tower is under
This is how you farm fast. Blood Rage maxed out every point, and it gives you 30 more attack speed. The fact that he's got Maelstrom this quickly means that he's gonna farm way faster than the stacks Bristol had, if there were that many.
Actually, not sure how many stacks they had. Okay, there we go. Oh, Rubik. Nice stack in those camp. Very nice too. Excellent. What I like to see from my supports.
But Tier 1 tower is still very alive. Timber again just parks his butt here and makes himself the uncall to his tower alive, and therefore control of Extreme. Means that all they can do is their moves are basically like push out mid to get a little chip damage, try to dive top for a fight, or invade your own jungle to try to take an engagement here. Look at the vision. Real good for V. Doing the smoke.
Feels like they know, right? Feel like something's off. They are grouped pretty close. GPK is going to get revealed here. Jewel, they'll turn their attention. They realize the support will be much easier. The Hex will come out. They'll turn back around. Can they get this kill on the OD? They'll be able to find the kill on save. OD buying a little bit more time. DM throwing out the Chakram, trying to get enough damage. That's not enough to keep him alive, though. It was a nice try by Chu. As now DM throwing his weight around. Look at Kingslayer. This is a brave Crystal Maiden, and this Rubik is not looking too great. He turns right back around again. They get the Rupture off, though. Can they finish off Chu? Yes, they can, and now they're chasing after Nefret. This is a Bristleback. They're trying to do everything they can. The Spear comes back out, but I think he's going to be allowed to live for now.
Okay, they're going to draw him to the top lane. This is a decent move. A lot of their opponents are bottom. Not too many of them used, but at least they'll get some pressure. But we're really seeing the advantage of the Pugna here. As long as he doesn't get caught there, and he's fast as hell, he's only made of bones. Accelerate faster, that's how it works.
Are they hollow avian bones too? For just that?
Man, hopefully not. He's kind of a squishy hero, but...
yeah, that might be why. Yeah. Hollow bones.
They win the fight. Oh, he got a movement speed as well. He's all about it. Doesn't care about his HP. He's like, just don't banish me and I live. So now the tower gets pressured too. They got the damage, they got the tank, it should die.
I don't think anyone can really approach this either. They drop the Serpent Wards. It's just too much push and too much frontlining coming out from DM as he was big chonky boy here.
Has like Blink Dagger on Mars or something when they do that smoke. Completely different, right? You can blink it on top of the Pugna and kill him at the start of the fight. He's not going to make OD feel like useless threats. He doesn't even have Nether Ward yet, by the way. So it's just going to get worse here for the OD. And
so much fun to see the way that these ports rotate with GPK. There's definitely a lot of trust there and definitely a lot of practice. It's like when a Crystal Maiden is just running at you because they know that their core is going to back them up. Even if they die, right? They know that they're getting a value kill. Like, you got to be a little bit worried. That's like a crazy-eyed Crystal Maiden running in there with blood in her eyes.
Yeah, it's like she maxed out Arcane Aura just constantly. Really effective. This Bloodseeker. All these guys love mana.
Come on, Sashlo. It's totally safe. Only it's not. It's a trap as he gets immediately blown up. They'll be able to go grab a bounty rune and start chasing after Nefret. Now, granted, they don't have anything to hold him into place right now, so I believe Nefret should be absolutely fine, but that was some big muscle coming through here.
It was. Bristle still kind of wants to get a Radiance here. Took a small step back into Sanj with a very good item on Carry Bristle just because the status was the raw HP, the extra reach. But he's only 16 for gold towards this Relic, and yeah, Radiance will be nice, but timing that it's going to hit is going to be much slower.
We've got BKBs coming. Well, so like a lot of the magical, yeah, we've got it over on Nightfall. Nightfall's just going to be running in and out of these fights. This OD is even more terrified, I think.
Not a lot of good solutions. Again, as the hero to be effective, you have to banish and get Meteor Hammer kills. It's that threat, basically. You make your opponents... But I don't think they haven't scared yet this game.
Look at Save. Just runs on in. She's trying to get through here. I think he's still dead, though. One more hit off. He's forced to use the Fairy Fire. The Decrepify coming out from GPK. Throwing out... Oh. No, he's not going to be able to finally get the hit on him. They're going to fight around the wards, though. PK trying to run away here. Does manage to get the Decrepify off. Save turns back around. He's going to hold the OD into place as he waits for DM to join into the fight here. Gonna get banished for half a second. Save diving into the trees, though, as there's a whole other fight. DPK does get taken down, but they need to get over there. They need to help Mellow Jewel, and they're not gonna be able to as Nightfall jumping back into the fight here. We'll be able to find the kill on Sashlo. Kingslayer is just gonna teleport out. They call in the Rubik. I don't think he wants to be here there, Coddle. I think this is pretty scary, but Nefret, you know, he's throwing out all those quills. He's getting a decent amount of damage. Nightfall sitting very, very low. Crystal Maiden's gonna let it go. They hold him over into the corner. This is not looking great now for Nefret as there's just so much damage, but he does have a lot of quill stacks up and running. It's not gonna be enough as he does finally go down to DM.
It looked so good against the Bloodseeker for a moment there. That lift up, that great whirling death in a bunch of trees for the from the Rubik got him low, but they just didn't have enough follow-up. They lose the fight again. But they pull OD in instantly. He's looking for a banish. Can they get this one kill? No.
Nope, they can't. And Kingslayer, he turns right back around, throws out the Frostbite, and I talked about this. This is just... I don't want to say a nightmare, but the fact that you have this Crystal Maiden who just feels that confident, that's not something you usually see. Or when you see it in your pubs, it's usually feeding very badly.
Yes, but he knows his limits. He's 4-0-7 on this game, by the way. Hey, but on the bright side, Extremum did pass their goal, right? They're above 4 kills.
Right.
Got 5 kills.
Ooh, Ooh, there we go.
Maybe-
you know,
maybe
every
look
day
at, like,
a little
7.
bit better than the next.
I do kind of like this mech that I picked up. But the reason that Rubik initially pretty effective. It could have been a Glimmer, of course, but considering that Glimmer can be a little iffy at times, and burst heal on everybody is pretty good, and mech isn't that expensive, we'll think to buy right away. 4 armor to the heroes, like an insane side.
I don't know. I think Save is starting to become one of those heroes that's just trying to go for the solo, because you saw the way he dropped
Yes.
those serpent wards and was just manning up down there.
He's been spending a lot of time hitting
Oh,
himself now.
well, they left the Imp Claw behind. Uh-oh. Hey, it's a free item is a free item, Purge, all right? Never know when it's going to help turn the tides.
It's okay. I don't think it's good on any heroes except for
No,
maybe the
Mellow
only
Jewel.
one.
They'll turn their attention to Chew instead. Hex comes out, Frostbite into Blood Right, and Shackles into Life Drain, and Nightfall gets the final hit.
Dire's structures are fortified.
See if they pick up the fast gem quite yet. A little unnecessary. They've really contracted the map.
God.
We'll find places to farm just like this.
Forced to use the Astral. Looks like they'll respect the fact that Sashlo makes his own rotation here to protect Mellow Jewel. Otherwise, I think they definitely stick
Radiant's middle
to that.
tower is under attack.
Still really good pressure. Forcing their opponents to think for ganking. Rupture top.
Yep, now for it. It's got to teleport, actually. Although you have to be careful, right? Because the Crystal Maiden does have a way to cancel out these TP. Slow, though. Going over to the high ground here with, geez, it's just not doing anything. It's just keeping the, they actually want to just stand there. They're not too concerned about it. Slayer taking a bit of damage. Life Drain coming out over on the back end. Chew joining into the fight. DM over on the side too is trying to drain off some more, but not going to be able to do it as he just starts dancing around in circles. This fight is just all over the place here for Extremum. DM finds the kill on Chew. Go, and they'll be able to grab up the bounty rune. Nefrit just trying to run away. DM sitting on the high ground here. Will Timber Chain down. Bloodright comes out. It's another banishment coming out from the OD as he's trying to buy some more time, but he's not going to be able to because they're already in position. Look at these shackles coming out from Safe. He's just taking a bath in this chakram, and down goes the OD. GPK did fall up during all of this, but Nefrit is the only big boy here who's able to run around. Looks like they will force back Nightfall. DM taking a bit of damage here. Does have the Timber Chain, though, so these spears just aren't going to connect.
Try.
Keeps on
And they're
running
chasing.
away.
It just feels like it's not that effective right now. He was able to kill the Pug and run him down. That part was good at least.
All right, Timber chaining through with that Rupture over here on the Mars. Save trying to jump in here. We'll get the shackles off over onto the Bristle. Hold them into place. Allow them to just walk away here. Save, although Nefrit seems like he really wants his kill. Needs to be careful, though, because look at the high ground. Look at what's coming from him. The Hex comes out. They've got the Glimmer Cape. They'll turn it right back around again, holding him in place with the Serpent Wards, with the Crystal Maiden ulti. They'll get the kill on him. They'll Timber Chain forward. They'll get the kill on Chew, and it doesn't feel like they're done yet. They really would like to grab G here. They just need some good Timber Chains coming in hot. Look at this. He says, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to get out of here alive. Tries to TP. Cannot do it. Too much damage. Triple kill here now for DM.
Well, I mean, the fight ultimately started. The Rupture was wasted on Bristleback, so Extremum said, we need to go fight. Here's a small advantage. They won't have an ultimate, but the Mars initiation, when you invade it's kind of like last game slip. Invade this tri-camp area of your own jungle, you have to show like a really good show of force. And it was a little bit disjointed and made that fight a little bit wacky. And he obviously also speared a Pugna, which did not help. But after that, it's basically just Virtus.Pro running circle around Extreme. Hard game.
Very wacky movements and whatnot in that last fight. Felt very split up the entire time. Looks like they're going to make the plays on Kingslayer. For the BKB's out from Nightfalls. He's just chasing down into Sashal. Plus the Chakram doing way too much damage. He goes down. They do manage to finally take down Kingslayer. As now Nightfall, bigger fish to fry, finds himself Mellow Jewel over here, getting some of these nice procs. Timber Chain, though, coming forward with the Chakram. And they're just chasing after Extremum, forcing them back. They'll turn their attention now right back around here on Mellow Jewel. This OD has not had a game at all. As down he goes again.
He had a small moment there that looked good. The BKB in and on Bloodseeker. he was going to get banished, but then this Manta's ready. He pops Manta. He even microed away an illusion, not his real hero, just to play it up. And at that point, OD just has to run. He doesn't know which one's going to be real, and he just gets run down. Bloodseeker's net worth continues.
Radiant's top tower
He's got
is
twice
under
the net
attack.
worth that OD has. Possible to play from for an OD. OD's already looked like an iffy hero, but
Radiant's
certainly
top tower
when you
has
get
fallen.
beaten in lane this hard and the map gets hero looks garbage compared to a lot of other mid. This
Radiant's
game is a
top
perfect
tower
thing.
is
You got to
under
be
attack.
really careful. An OD early.
Like Virtus.Pro is taking more and more of the real estate, branching out a bit more.
Radiant's
Save.
top tower is under attack.
On high ground, Nightfall's just walking right on in, and look at the way they're rotating. Look at this movement. They're just. It looks like a. It's gonna sound ridiculous, but it looks like a pod of killer whales just going after like seals or something. The way that they're sweeping and just forcing them into the small contained area. And look at this. They're running into the tree lines. I would not be surprised to see them teleport just out.
Dire
Might
are
wait
scanning.
for a bit just to like say if Save walks forward and hits a creep wave. Oh, they're not here. Oh, this is you gonna walk into
Save.
him.
Save. Do you know
All
what's
right, here
there?
we go.
Walks into Nefrit. It's the hex off. Immediately gets lifted up by you, but he blinks. Save God. This kid's got moves.
Bristol wasn't watching, didn't
Oh
right away.
no! But he
Was
drops the
hex
serpent
afterwards.
words.
It's fine. Honestly, it's
He
fine.
drops the items too.
It's like, come back out of your hidey hole. Yeah,
Please
no
take
damage
this.
dealt. And then after the lift, they lost vision maybe, so or they didn't move fast enough. So small mistakes. They should have had that kill, but it's okay. It's not really okay, but it's okay.
You sound like a dad who's very disappointed in his son at soccer
There's
practice.
the lift. Needed to nuke him here for sure, but yeah, just small hesitation.
Yes,
Bummer.
not.
Doubt they're invading their own temple on Extremum though.
That look on his face, like, oh well.
Control, they've got bounty runes in the bot half of the map. Possible to get some bounties. And this courier at.
Rupture again on Sashlo. Mellow Jewel though, puts him in the bubble. All right, allows him to get out. Standing over on the side, Kingslayer says, "Oh God, you dropped this. Don't worry, I'll help you. I'll pick it up." DM getting the final hit.
Bloodseeker reading that fight really.
Very well. The
back
Hex
it up.
comes out. The slow followed up with the life drain. He's very tanky. It's actually pretty ridiculous to watch him right now. He joining in. He says, "All right, well maybe I can get the coddle." Do a little more with that. Tip coming out from save now.
Bloodseeker basically just anticipating his opponent to make moves like that, and he ruptured the first guy he spotted. Why that made that. But Bristle is getting pretty tanky. He gave up on the Radiance long ago. He went Hood, SNY. I love Quicksilver Amulet. Attack quickly, and now he's going hard afterwards. He needs raw HP to survive against Pugna, against Bloodseeker, against Timber.
But my question now becomes, like, does he have enough damage, like, coming out from the rest of the team? Because poor Mellow Jewel, oh, hold that thought, because DM is just yo-yoing of death over here. Immediately throwing out, get the whip out, cha, it goes through.
He generally does, yes, have enough damage. His levels are a little bit low, but the nice thing about Bristle is that not only do you do a lot of AoE damage, but you do insane single target damage when you cast a lot of spells. Obviously, hitting level 25 makes that even bigger. You get that Warpath damage per stack, and then you have like 2 Divine Rapiers of damage. But for now, it's definitely a little up in the air. But he's got Shreds, he's got the Amulet. Hard is going to give him a little bit more damage. Yeah, it could buy him time. But they have to not have grappled to Armored like Timber, and they need to not be decrept and to not be frostbited or whatever. There's a lot
that's
of
so many things that he has to not do, Purge.
team has to not be dead. Yeah, it's a little bit scary.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's like a laundry. It sounds like those commercials where it's drug reactions, you know? Like, this drug may cause this. You know, there's a lot of things that poor Nefrit has to be able to do and not do
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
to help win this game.
Start's ready to go at least. Gonna go walk on in.
Are scanning.
As one does when he's a bristleback. Immediately disarmed, though. The follow-up, it's a really nice arena coming out for Sashlo, but the BKB comes out on the back line, so they drop those Serpent Wards. BKB gets popped on Melojul as well, so Sashlo, first one to go down. They'll turn their attention now over to the to the bristleback, and he's too tanky. They find the kill on save, 2 already going down. Turn this back around. This heart's doing a lot of work, but Melojul will pop. And now it's not looking great here for this bristleback. The blinding light buys him a little bit more time, but the magic damage is there as the Crystal Man lets it go, and down goes Nefrit.
That was Timber Saw, actually, though. Whirling Death, pure damage. That many trees.
Middle tower is under attack.
I mean, you can build against it with raw HP like they did, but that amount of disable is just... And it feels like the real issue is that, like, once the BKB ended for OD, Blood Rite is just too big of a threat. It's like, OD can't just keep banishing himself. He has to banish and use Meteor Hammer, otherwise he's not going to be effective, but really hard to find the right opportunity.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And I love how aggressive Save was playing there. Did you see the way he blinked up onto the high ground right afterwards, hoping he can grab someone else? A lot of confidence.
You have this network. You got to make them. Cool.
All right.
Items, spider legs. Dagon, a really good way to transit. You're a little squishy at times. BKB is going to help for Pugna, but once you get Dagon, it's just a lot easier to go high ground, because if somebody ever gets out of position, you just decrep Dagon them. They take like 1,000 damage, and sometimes they die, and then you're just high ground. It's a good way to close this game out as Pugna. End up with another, and he's got Bloodstone, by the way, so he's got double spell amp, spell lifesteal.
He's got the Eternal Shroud. That'll be pretty nice since he has frontlinings.
He's got 35 spell lifesteal, plus that's amplified by 30%. So
well,
it's like closer. It's like 45 closer to spell lifesteal. Any damage he's dealt that he deals, he gets about 45 of that back. Good luck killing Timber.
Great. I mean, to be fair, it is looking scarier, right? It's more difficult to kill Nefrit. It took a lot of time during that last fight to actually slay him, but...
What's
Radiant's middle tower is under
Mars's
attack.
initiations have not going Timber.
Yeah, DM is not concerned about this. Has the Lotus Orb on him. Oh, there's the Abyssal Blade. They'll immediately slow down Nefrit. It feels like Nightfall maybe looking towards the back lines here as he goes. He grabs up the Bounty Rune, has his eyes again on Melojul, who forces the BKB up, but the BKB comes out from Nightfall, and he gets a nice bash off right off the head. Down goes Melojul. Sashlo, he's got these arenas, but he needs just a little bit more help here, as it looks like they'll be able to take down Kingslayer. The back lines will also be able to find the kill on G. Pugna blinking forward here, trying to find the opening. Looks like they'll just turn their attention now to Nefrit. They know that he's most of the damage as he'll go down. Now Sashlo trying to run away. They're trying to get some body blocks off here. Save, waiting patiently. Final hit should be able to come in from Nightfall as they go, and they grab him up. They just hold him for a little bit, and eventually down he goes. That was some playing with your food if ever I've seen it.
They've been playing with their food since the literal first fight at the negative 30-second mark. They are just all about doing this. They're outscaling their opponents. They can taunt all they want. They're playing fluent.
Radiant's
Pressure.
top tower is under
Now
attack.
they're going to go high ground. And the crucial thing about that last fight, itemization from BT. Obviously, the network is a lot of it, but Bloodseeker BKBs, and he just dives after OD. He ruptures OD, OD uses BKB. He just doesn't care. He bashes him, prevents him from being annoying, and Timbersaw just runs at all of the other targets.
Radiant's
He used
middle
all of his
tower
effort
is
in that
under
first fight just to kill a Crystal Maiden. They used Mars ulti to kill a Crystal Maiden. But they're so far behind at this point that I don't even blame them for this last fight. But certainly, like, some of those early mid-game fights have been a little bit weak from initiations have felt a little bit sitting 111 and 4. Maybe jumping the gun. It's hard to say, but it's obviously a very hard game.
You wonder a little bit how much of it's starting to get like stressed and a bit tilt, right, too?
Yeah. But it's going to happen, but it's really hard against these roots.
Radiant are scanning.
Brit, he's smoked up, makes his way over into the pit. DM will reveal himself. The rest of the team still smoked over here on the side. And look at this movement. Look at the way that they're trying to wrap around here. As Nightfall jumping onto the back line here. We'll find Sashlo. They want to just get rid of him. They don't want to have to deal with this arena any longer. The arena does come up, but doesn't seem like it really matters because the BKB is coming out from Nightfall. They go to get shackles off over onto the burst on the back line, though. Melojul waiting patiently with the BKB, trying to take down Nightfall. They drop the Serpent Wards over to side 2, though. He's going to go down, and looks like Melojo will be next to fall, thanks to GPK. And they're just throwing out the flamethrower over here on Nefert, slowing him down, silencing him, doing everything that you said he just could not afford to have happen to him, Purge. And down he goes. No buyback on the Bristleback. They call GG. They've had enough on the side of Extreme.
Yeah, good luck winning that game. Way too much net worth advantage on VP. Once again, the early game was completely decided by the mid lane. And in a lot of ways, Pugna is going to beat OD in the mid lane as long as you get hit by his nukes, and you're going to. He's got Decrep, he's got Blast, he's got right clicks that outrange yours. OD is not going to be able to win that matchup unless like you get roaming supports that go and deal with him to give him an advantage.